হ্যাঁ, করে দিচ্ছি লাইভ।
আচ্ছা, মিঠুন বাবু, আমি তাহলে মিউট করে দিচ্ছি।
আমরা কিন্তু লাইভ হয়ে গেছি, এবারে আপনি শুরু করতে পারেন প্রোগ্রাম।
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure and privilege to address the audience in connection with the webinar organized by the Department of Biological Science and IQAC of Syamaprasad College. We are pleased to let you know that in today's program, we have two learned speakers who will be introduced shortly. Now, I invite our Vice Principal, Dr. Sushmita Mukherjee, for the welcome address.
A very good afternoon to all the speakers and participants. It is indeed an honor and privilege for us to welcome Dr. Taposhi Roy, National Postdoctoral Fellow, CSIR, Indian Institute of Chemical Biology, and Professor Dr. Somnath Gangopadhyay, Professor and former Head of Department of Physiology, Calcutta University. I also profusely thank the Bioscience Department of our college, all the professors, Dr. Shamir Kumar Ghosh, Department of Physiology, Dr. Purimal Nag, Department of Botany, and Dr. Nobukanto Jana, Department of Zoology, for organizing such a relevant webinar. I also extend my gratitude to the technical team, which is supporting the webinar today, Damini Rai, Mithun Gayan, and Shulagna Shom, and also our IQAC convener, Srinivas Singh Jadhav, Dr. Srinivas Singh Jadhav, to be here and for coordinating the program. The topic today is extremely relevant, and I think it needs to be addressed because COVID-19 is perhaps the greatest challenges that mankind faced since the World War II. It has affected a large number of people across the countries of the world. It is not only a serious health issue, a health concern, but it has also triggered socio-economic crisis throughout the world. It has totally changed our way of life, our way of thinking, and it has affected all sections of the society. As a result, today from different parts of the world, we come to hear of mental stress, anxiety, depression. These are some of the manifestations of this COVID-19 because our life has completely changed post this pandemic. And not only that, our working environment has changed. We as teachers of this college, we can very well feel that because college was an institution where we could all meet, exchange our ideas, exchange our views. It was a place for an intellectual discussion. But today we are missing that very much. And today really we need these kind of webinars where these important issues has to be addressed, have to be discussed. And the result will be that we will be enriched and we can change our life according to these, the results or the outcomes of these discussions. So I think that whatever we hear today, whatever we learn today will be extremely beneficial in our day-to-day life so that we can very patiently cross this pandemic situation and again bounce back to our normal life. Thank you so much to the organizers, and I'm just looking forward to hearing our August speakers who will definitely enrich us with their speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. So next in the keynote address, I will just say a few words. You know, this is a moment when two questions are being asked very frequently. One is, when Corona will be over and when everything will return to normal? The answer is simple. And the answer is never. Because there are historical moments when the future changes direction. And sometimes we may either call them bifurcations or deep crisis. These times are now. The world, as we know, it is dissolving. But still, behind it possibly comes a new world, the formation of which we can at least imagine. You know, there is a beautiful expression coming back from the future. This expression actually refers to the idea of using one's insights and intuition about what is certain to happen. Why? In order to deal with the realities at hand and be better equipped to create one's desirable future. Only a crisis, either actual or perceived, produces real change. When that crisis occurs, the actions that are taken depend on the ideas that are lying around. That, I believe, is our basic function. To develop alternatives to existing policies, to keep them alive and available until the politically impossible becomes the politically inevitable. We are grateful to Professor Somnath Gangopadhyay and Dr. Taposhi Rai for their kind consent to participate as resource person in this program, which set us to speculate success in organizing such a webinar. Professor Gangopadhyay, in his deliberation, will highlight on the altered lifestyle to justify bringing the office at home, including its management. And Dr. Roy will present how and to what extent COVID-19 can do fatal to human life. Well, now over to Dr. S.S. Jadhav for introduction, the first speaker.
Hi, hello. Hello.
Jadavji, audible.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes,
Mithun?
yes.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Shushmita Mukherjee, our Vice Principal, and Samir Ghosh, sir. And welcome to all the participants and all the organizing committee. We are going to have a very fruitful webinar today because the pandemic, which has affected the whole life of the world, where people of the world are suffering, they are under stress, they are under strain, they have fear, anxiety, and so many things. And this topic is very, very relevant. And two speakers, as ma'am told, as sir also told, that they are very eminent persons in their fields. So now we are going to have our webinar. Before that, I would like to introduce both the speakers. First speaker in our webinar is Dr. Somnath Bandyopadhyay. He is MSc, PhD, FA, BMS, FCIEHF, United Kingdom, CER, GHF, UK, professor and former head Department of Physiology, in charge Occupational Ergonomics Laboratory Coordinator, Department of Sports Sciences, University of Calcutta, Convener, PhD Research Advisory Committee, Physiology, Secretary, Scientific Committee of Occupational Health, and in small scale enterprises and informal sector, ICHO, International Commission on Occupational Health, Honorary General Secretary, Physiological Society of India. Sir has very vast knowledge and research work and academic work. Now I welcome Dr. Somnath Gangopadhyay and request him to please deliver his lecture in today's webinar. Over to sir.
Thank you, Professor Jadhav, for giving me introduction, nice introduction. I wish to convey my thanks to the organizers for inviting me to say a few words in the working from home, this condition. This working from home, actually, it is the result of the lockdown situations. Now we are facing in Calcutta, all over India. So all over India, we are facing these things. That is, we have to work from home. Now I'm going to share my screen. That will take a few minutes to share my screen. Yes. So again, I wish to convey my thanks to the organizers for inviting me to deliver this talk in the situations of the working from home. So now the condition is like that, we have to work from home. So not only, that is the office executives, but also we, like the academicians, also have to work from home. That is, we have to take class from home. So the question is not from work from home, because when we work from home, then we get that the comfort of home we get, and that's a very important thing. That is, we get comfort. But when we bound to work from home, then some other situations are also added, like we never get the office atmosphere at our home. What is office atmosphere? Yes, sometimes it is good, sometimes it's bad. But the office furniture create an atmosphere in the office. So this office furniture you will not get at home. So like that, you have to work from home, like sitting on the floor, and then not for the 1 hour or 2 hours, sometimes you have to work from home for more than 8 hours. So this is a very tremendous and painful situation, because you have to adjust everything when you have to work from home. That is, adjust everything means your own furniture, your existing furniture, you have to adjust that furniture so that you get comfort from that furniture. So what is the application of ergonomics over here? Ergonomics means that is the human comfort. So in which way we can give human comfort in this type of situation that we have to work from home for a longer period, longer durations. And then also we get comfort, that is comfort working from home, so that our performance, our efficiency will be increased. So I will give you some hints, I will discuss with you some conditions in which way you can change the situation so that you will get comfort by working from home, because we have to work from home longer periods. So recently I found this comics, Mr. B. This is the regular routine of Mr. B. That is 9 o'clock. Mr. B will take the breakfast, and then 9:30 computer games. Then 9:45 to 9:50 start report. This is only the official work. And then 9:50 power nap, and then 10 o'clock break. But unfortunately, we will not get this type of things, during working from home, because we have to give more and more time to work, efficiently when we have to work from home. So if the situation is like that, then there is no need to proceed further. but I know that your situation is not like that, that you have to work, you have to have in a confined space. It's not a confined place, but without proper furniture, by sitting on the furniture, by using the proper desk. In that way, you have to work. And then I will give you the ideas in which way you can make this furniture, this existing furniture, so that you will get comfort from that furniture also. So this is the conditions. This is recently I also found in my email that from a online shop that when we just click this explore now, this portion, then you will get hundreds of furnitures, descriptions of hundreds of furnitures. That is only for the working from home. That furnitures you have to use if you want to work from home. But sometimes I find this is not the actual furnitures, means there's no ergonomics in that furniture. So if you use that furniture, because the furniture is very costly, very expensive, if you use this furniture during working from home, during working from home, then again it will create some extra problem. That is the problem of your muscle and the skeletal system, which we normally know as the musculoskeletal disorder. So that will itself create the musculoskeletal disorder. So now the options are there. You have to make your home like this, like your office. But it is very difficult to make your home like your office, because there are so many things you have to do. You have to do at your home. But now we have to bound to work, in our home, at a home, in these conditions, which is not which is the normal existing conditions, and we have to use this existing condition as if it is our office. So we have to include some ergonomics point when you have to work from home. That is, we have to work from home with our computer, with our desktop, with our laptop, and also with the, with the smartphone. With the smartphone, we have to work from home with the smartphone. So in which way you will use these things so that your discomfort feeling at the different part of your body will be decreased or somehow will be removed. So there are so many rules and regulations are there, the placing of the, that is your laptop or your desktop, that is the screen positions of the mouse, positions of the keyboard, and these all the things are there. So you have to follow these things. But what are the rules? In which way we you identify that this laptop is not correct. The positions of the laptop is not correct. The positions of the screen of the, desktop is not correct. And in which way you have to hold the, the smartphone. In which way we have to hold the smartphone. So these are all these things I will discuss. I will try my best to discuss with you. I will give some ideas to you so that you can make your home more comfortable, a situations in a atmosphere, working atmosphere. So we have to add ergonomics, when we have to work from home for longer durations. But what is ergonomics? During my first entry into the ergonomics in 1984, that time my teacher, Professor Rabindranath Sen, he first introduced ergonomics, Indian ergonomics in University of Calcutta. And that my laboratory is known as the birthplace of the Indian ergonomics. So he used to say that, Somnath, there are two Greek words in ergonomics. One is the ergon, and other one is the nomos. And ergon means the work, and the nomos means the laws. But that time, during my student period, it was very difficult for me when I tried to conjugate these two words, that is work with law, that means the laws of work. Then it was very difficult for me to understand what does it mean, laws of work. What is laws of work? But afterwards I found laws means that is the natural law of work. So if you follow the natural law during your work, then your efficiency, your performance will be increased. So in which way we will follow the natural law during our work when we have to work at home during this COVID-19 situation. So, you know, if you bend your back, this is not you are following the natural law. Because natural law means you have to straighten your back. So it is very much related with the design of the furniture. All the furniture what we bound to use at home. So if you change the design of the furniture, then this bending posture will not be there and your back will become straight. So this is ergonomics. That means by applying ergonomics during your work, your efficiency will be increased. And you can apply this ergonomics by changing the positions of the monitors, that is the monitor, but changing the positions of the keyboard, changing the positions of the mouse, and also the laptop, the placement of the laptop, by which normally your back will become almost straight and you will get maximum comfort during work, and then your efficiency, your performance will be increased. Before going to the more details in this, that is the working from home, I give you some idea. That is the ergonomics. When you apply ergonomics, because ergonomics is a human-centered. That means when we use ergonomics in the design will become human-centered design. So you have to consider the three very important factors of the human being, and you should include these three different, very important factors during when you try to change the design of the furniture, design of the, that workstations, design of the workstation. So these three important things are there. The first is the strength of the human being. If you make the furniture, if you use the furniture very heavy, then it will be very difficult for you to lift the furniture. Then it is not ergonomics. Because when we used to work from home, then we should use the furniture which are very lightweight and easily that can be lifted from one place to other place, that can be shifted from one place to other place easily. So it will be very easy, very comfortable for the person to work in the different part or different places or different rooms at your home. So
Sir, sorry for the interruption. আপনি কি স্ক্রিনটা শেয়ার করেছেন যে ফার্স্ট পেজেই আছে নাকি পেজ চেঞ্জ করেছেন?
পেজ আমি চেঞ্জ করেছি।
কিন্তু স্যার সেটা কিন্তু এখানে শো করছে না।
কিন্তু আমি
ফার্স্ট পেজেই রয়েছে।
না, তাহলে আমার মনে হয় যে এখানে এটা সবারই কি তাই অবস্থা? সবাই কি তাই দেখছেন? সবাই কি তাই দেখছেন?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, আমরা ফার্স্ট পেজই দেখছি।
হ্যাঁ সোমনাথ,
হ্যাঁ
ফার্স্ট পেজেই আছে।
কথা না শেয়ারিং।
স্যার আপনি যদি, আমার মনে হয় যেটা সমস্যা হয় স্লাইড শোটাতে, স্লাইড শো দিয়ে দেখালে পরে ঠিক করে দেখায়, নাহলে স্ক্রিনে স্ক্রল করলে ফার্স্ট উইন্ডোজ যেহেতু আপনি চুজ করেছিলেন।
আমি একটা কাজ করছি, আমি স্টপ শেয়ার করে আমি আরেকবার শেয়ার করছি। ওকে,
আপনি একদম ফুল স্ক্রিন শেয়ার করে দিন।
রাইট, আমি সেটাই করছি। আমি ডেস্কটপে আমি ফুল স্ক্রিন। আচ্ছা, এখন কি আপনি 1 মিনিট ডেস্কটপ, ইয়েস, এখন কি আপনি আমি একবার জিজ্ঞেস করে নেব।
হ্যাঁ স্যার দেখা যাচ্ছে একদম।
হ্যাঁ এখন দেখা
যাচ্ছে তো পুরো স্ক্রিনটা?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ স্যার দেখা যাচ্ছে।
আচ্ছা আপনি দেখুন এখন দেখা যাচ্ছে কি?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে।
আচ্ছা চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে, রাইট। তাহলে আমি আগে যাই যেখানটা আমরা এসেছিলাম। সরি, ভেরি সরি, আমি বুঝতে।
না স্যার ঠিক আছে।
থ্যাংক ইউ। আচ্ছা 1 মিনিট, খালি এই প্রথমটা একটু। আমি এই স্লাইডটা আমি আলোচনা করেছি, দ্যাট ইজ দ্য ইফ ইউ জাস্ট ফার্স্ট স্লাইড। আচ্ছা এইটা আপনারা কি দেখেছেন? দিস ওয়ান? না এটা বোধহয় দেখা যাচ্ছে।
এটা দেখিনি।
এখন কি দেখা যাচ্ছে কোন স্লাইড চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে? যেটা
দেখা যাচ্ছে,
হ্যাঁ এখন দেখা যাচ্ছে স্যার,
চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে। আচ্ছা তাহলে আমি আরেকবার আমি বলছি। আচ্ছা রিসেন্টলি আমি একটা নিউজ পেপারে একটা কার্টুন দেখলাম, সেখানে মিস্টার বি রুটিন, দ্যাট ইজ দ্য ডেইলি রুটিন অফ দ্য মিস্টার বি ইজ লাইক দ্যাট, দ্য 9টার সময় ব্রেকফাস্ট, and then 9:30 computer games, then 9:45 to 50 start report, this is only the official work, and then 9:50 power nap, and then 10 o'clock break. That means there is no other official work, only this 5 minutes is the official work. But normally when we have to work from home, normally this is not our official, this is not our daily routine. during because we have to work from home for more than 8 hours. আমি এটাই বলতে চেয়েছিলাম আর কি that time. আচ্ছা, তারপরে স্লাইডটা ছিল, that is the, if you just click this explore now this portion, then you will find hundreds of furnitures, but you have to find out whether these furnitures are actually correct or not, because everybody say this is ergonomically designed furniture. You have to use this furniture and you will get comfort at your home during, when you bound to work from home for a longer period. কিন্তু আমি যেটা বলবো এখানে আমার লেকচারে, that is I will give you some hints in which way you can redesign your existing workstation. কারণ আমরা ফার্নিচার আনতে পারবো না. It's very difficult to bring furniture from our office, or it is very difficult to purchase this very heavy, costly, expensive furniture. So we have to adjust from our home. That is, we have to use our existing furniture. In which way we can use this furniture so that we will get comfort. Next slide, that is the, normally you have to make your home as your office. But it is very difficult because so many things are required at your home to make your home as an office. Because we have to work from home, like we have to sitting on the floor. সেটা তো আমার ঠিক অফিসের অ্যাটমসফিয়ারটা হলো না. Then in which way we can change these things? আমরা কিভাবে this change we can things so that we get comfort, because ergonomics, when we apply ergonomics, that time the ergonomic sense of ergonomics will come, because in which way you have to adjust the screen, in which way you have to place the keyboard, in which way you have to place the mouse. These are all the important things, and these things are very much related with the comfort, your individual comfort. So during my first day in my class in 1984, my teacher used to say, that ergonomics, there are the two Greek words in ergonomics. One is the ergon, means the work, and the nomos means the laws. And when I tried to conjugate these two words, যখন আমি দুটো ওয়ার্ডকে মেশাতে চেষ্টা করতাম, then I used to find that it is the laws of work. But what does it mean, laws of work? But these laws means natural law of work. If your workstation is like that, then you have to bend your posture, bend your back to do some work, then you will not get any comfort. And this forward bending posture is, we are not following, that is during the forward bending posture, we're not following the natural law of work. So what is the natural law? You don't have to bend your back. That is, your back will become straight. Now you see, with this furniture, the bending of the back will be there, but with this furniture, there will be no bending of the back. Of course, this type of furniture is very difficult to get, but in very simple way, with minimum cost or no cost, we can make our home in such a way we can arrange the laptop, positions of the laptop, and the that is the keyboard and the monitor in such a way with no cost or minimum cost, then we'll get maximum comfort during our work. So আমার এই অবধি আমার হয়ে গেছিল। এখন এই স্লাইডটায় আমি যেটা এসেছিলাম, এখন ঠিক স্লাইডগুলো চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে, তো খালি একবার আমাকে বললেই হবে। Now it is okay, no?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. Thank you. So kind of. Now there are the three important factors we have to consider when we use ergonomics. When you use ergonomics to give comfort when you have to work from home. And these three important factors is the strength of the human being, because lightweight furniture should be there, because you have to remove the furniture, because if the furniture is very heavy, then it will be very difficult for the person to lift the furniture. That is, it is beyond the normal capabilities of the human being to lift or to use this furniture. So that thing is very important. Number two is the limitations. Human body dimensions is the limitation. So you have to consider, you have to think about your own dimensions. And in that way, you have to select the furniture. আপনার বাড়ির মধ্যে not 1000, but 10 or 20 chairs will be there, maybe there, অথবা 10টা অথবা 5টা চেয়ার আছে. Then from that 5টা chair, you have to select which one is very much, fitted your normal body dimensions. That is a very important thing. So that you have to consider the body dimensions, your body dimensions, and the requirements. And these are the requirements when we have to work from home. That is the positions of the monitor, that is monitor screen, keyboard, positions of the keyboard, position of the mouse. These are all the requirements of the. So the positions and the placement and the angle of the monitor is very important. এতে কোনো পয়সা খরচা হয় না. No, you don't have to spend money to just to bend the screen, just to take rest during your work. So I will give you some hints, very simple ergonomics hints, through which you will make your home a comfortable part, because you have to work from home. আপনাকে class নিতে হবে. You have to take class, you have to take class from home, online class আমাদের নিতেই হবে. And then you should make your workstation in such a way that you can do longer durations, you can spend longer durations during working from home. So because I want to share some real facts. 56% of the office employees will work from home in near future. But I should add the academicians, the teachers, and the students also. Then the total percentage will be increased like 80 to 85%. So 85% of the people will work from home in future, or now in 90%, you can say the 85% of the workers now, presently, they're working from home. So this is a large amount of populations are working from home. So if you give them some benefit, then their work efficiency, then their work performance, work comfort will be increased. 63% of the employees feel that they are more productive when they're working remotely. That is when they work from home, because home atmosphere or ambient is a very important thing. So you will get some, home ambient. But the most important thing is in the third point, that is the 30 to 45 days to get productive to the same level as working from office. That means you need 30 to 45 days. আপনার 30 থেকে 45 দিন চাই to become more, that is the equal productive. আপনি যে অফিসে থেকে বা আপনার ইনস্টিটিউটে থেকে আপনি যতটা প্রোডাক্টিভ ছিলেন, সেটা হোমে থেকে প্রোডাক্টিভ হওয়ার জন্য then you need 30 to 45 days. But why? Why we need 30 to 45 days? Because we don't have proper seat and stand workstations at home. That is the main important part in case of the, in this situation. But এটা কেন দরকার? Why? That is the most important question. Because your health. Because if you work in a adverse conditions, in a bad, awkward postures for a longer period, then you may develop some musculoskeletal disorders, which are known as the work-related musculoskeletal disorders. There are so many names of the work-related musculoskeletal, like carpal tunnel syndrome, tendonitis, muscle strain. These are all the things. And when you use ergonomics, then you find that some factors are very much related. If you remove that factors, if you change that factors, then you will get more comfort working from home, like your posture. So improper posture is a very important factor. So by ergonomics, by application of ergonomics, the posture should be proper. Then the height of the keyboard, then the height of the monitor, then the adjustment of the chair. This is a very important thing. And the most important thing is the break. You have to take break. Into key break neben, and when you will have to take break, I will give you that idea. So first I will give you very brief idea about the work-related musculoskeletal disorder. First, this idea was given by Italian physicians, 17th century Italian physicians, Bernardino Ramazzini. And he was known as the father of the occupational medicine. And he identified thousands of musculoskeletal disorders, and these musculoskeletal disorders are highly related with the work, with the different types of work. And this is his book, that is the Diseases of Workers. And in this book, he gave the description of thousands of musculoskeletal disorders, and they're very much related with the different occupations, like bending postures, that is awkward postures, like the postures and the movement of the body is very much related with the development of the musculoskeletal disorder. That the unnecessary movement of the body, that will create some problems, or that will increase the development of the musculoskeletal disorder. Awkward postures or bending postures for longer durations, that will create the, the musculoskeletal disorders. And if you think properly, if you think, minutely or deeply, then you will find that now in our situation at home, there are hundreds of, awkward postures, because we have to do work in these existing situations, and we have to bend forward to work with the laptop, work with the desktop and other things. So these things are very much related with the development of the musculoskeletal disorder. So direct kichu effect ache. There's some direct effects of the COVID-19 situations are there. And these are some indirect effect of the COVID-19 situations. And indirectly and unknowingly, you are developing so many disorders, so many diseases. And again, these diseases, these disorders will prevent you to do more and more work. And in future, it will be very difficult for you to do work, because our age also there, and also this type of postures will prevent us to do more work in future. So these are all the musculoskeletal disorders. These are known as the soft tissues injuries, soft body tissues injuries, like in the muscles, nerves, tendons, joints, cartilage, spinal discs. There are so many soft tissue injuries are there. And these are the defined types of work-related musculoskeletal disorder. But the very common work-related musculoskeletal disorder is your back pain or the lower back pain. And this lower back pain, the main cause of the lower back pain is the workstation, design of the workstation, poor design of the workstation. At home, it is very difficult to design a workstation, but I will give you some idea in which way you can change the design so that you will get comfort. So these are all the factors or stressors which will develop the work-related musculoskeletal disorders, like poor and awkward postures, static muscle loading, and repetitive tasks. As I said, that repetitive movement of your body, that will create the musculoskeletal disorder. And the glare in the room also create the musculoskeletal disorder. The wrong desk, monitor, or the keyboard height, and improper chair adjustment. Again, the chair. So chair is a very important factors, and by which you may develop the musculoskeletal disorders. So these are all the things you should consider during working from home. That is your posture, desk height, keyboard height and the angle, monitor height and the angle, and of course the chair adjustment. So chair, there are so many factors of the chair you have to find out. That is whether it is 5 point, that's the pasta casters, whether there are 5 casters in the chair. And if there's 5 casters, then the chair will become well balanced. Support will be, you will get more support. And the very important thing is the lumbar support, that is low back support. And this low back support is very important thing in case of the, selection of the chair. So this is the chairs where you get the low back support. Here we'll get the low back support. And if this portion is not, properly designed, then you will not get lower back support. And then you will feel the severe pain at your back, at your lower back. And that will create, the severe problem to doing more work. But there are so many hundreds of chairs are there. And these are very expensive. And some chairs you will not get at, in India also. These are fully adjustable chairs. These are also chairs. And you will get the knee support also from these chairs. And again, it is very expensive. So in which way we can use this? We can use these chairs at home. This is also chair, because this portion, by this portion, when the person will sit on this portion, then the back will become straight. So there is no back support actually, but the back will become straight. Again, it is very difficult for you to sitting on this chair for a longer duration. Then you will feel again the back pain. And again, it is very difficult to get this type of chairs at home. So you should get support at your lumbosacral region. And this is the lumbosacral region where you have to get support. So you can get support by using the cushion. Not so hard, not so soft, this type of cushion. So if I consider these situations, that is when normally we have to sit on the floor and we have to do work doing work from home. then this person is getting support at the back, from the back of the bed, or the side of the bed, sorry, from the side of the bed. So if I give him some cushions, not so hard, not so soft, and if I place that cushion at this lumbosacral region, then the person will get maximum comfort by sitting on this, on these situations, on these conditions. And also I may support him, I may suggest him that he should use some low heighted desk. And on this low heighted desk, he should place the laptop and the notebook, and then he will get maximum comfort, not by changing the different types of posture. The twisting of the back is here also, the twisting of the neck, because he's using the mobile phone in this way. So if he will use the headphone, then again this type of posture will not be there. And you find this minimum cost is required to give this type of things. Apni apnar ei jinishguli use korte paren minimum costing, and then you will get maximum comfort in working from home. But I will give you some ideas. That is, there's some rules, that is like the computer monitor positioning. Place the monitor in a location that eliminates glare on the screen. So you should think about the positions of the window. That if the window at the back, then you are restricting the sunlight. If the window in front of you, then the sunlight will fall on your eyes, and then you will feel glare. But the window should be at your side, either at your right side or your left side. And when the window will be at your right side or your left side, then you will get ample amount of sunlight at your workstations, at your workplace. So this is the very interesting thing. That is like this, the person is getting light from the side. The window is at the right side. So window should be at the right side. Then you have to find out the home, or find out the place at your home where you can place your workstation, you can make your workstation, to get light from your side. That is from the left side, or from the right side, or from the left side. So that is very important things. And the monitor should be placed directly in front of you. There should not be any angle. Like in the next photograph, I will show you next slide. This is in the angle portion, this monitor is placed. And then the person have to, twist his neck. And this twisting of the neck creates some problem, musculoskeletal disorder, which is known as the tension neck syndrome. And this condition, for this condition, there may be the tension neck syndrome. For this condition, because it is in a diagonally, the monitor is placed diagonally. Again, there's some tension neck syndrome, and diagonally placed, again the tension, but now it is straight. Now the person will not feel any neck pain or the development of the musculoskeletal disorder, or the, the tension neck syndrome will not be there. So there are other rules also there, like there should be some angle. Top line of the screen at or slightly like 30 degrees below your eye level. So that should be below your eye level, because your normal posture will not like this. When you have to work from home with your computer, not like this. Your working posture is like this. And then if the monitor you place like here, then you have to raise your neck. Or if the monitor will be there, then you have to bend your neck, and then you feel pain. And then that is the tension neck syndrome. So it is slightly, that is 30 degrees below your eye level, and then you will feel maximum comfort by looking at the screen. So this is very important. And the monitor should be placed arm length, not very near. And if it is very near, because you have to work for longer durations with your computer, then you will feel some pain or some dryness of the eye. And that will create some problem. So, and also, if it is not placed directly, and if it is in an angle, again, you have to, there's some bending of the neck, bending of the, the waist will be there, and that will create a severe problem, like the development of the different pains at your different parts of your body. This is not a usual conditions at home, because when you have to work from home, during work from home, when you use the two monitors, and if these two monitors are placed like this, then you have to move your neck like this, seeing this monitor and then this monitor. But if the monitor will placed in U-shaped like this, then you don't have to move your neck, frequently, because it is under your visual field. And then by looking straight, also you can watch this monitor and this monitor. So very simple solution. No cost is required, but you will get comfort. And then the keyboard. Of course, the keyboard should be placed directly in front of you. And you should place the keyboard in such a way that your wrist will become straight and your shoulder will become very relaxed and your elbow should be very close to your body. And then you will get maximum comfort during work your home, that is working with this keyboard. But there are so many different types of keyboards. I will discuss about these keyboards, but it will be very difficult to get this keyboard. And the most important thing is keyboard and the mouse should be same level. If you place the mouse on the tabletop and the keyboard in the, that is the keyboard tray, then there is some elevations of your shoulder will be there when you hold the mouse. So you will feel some pain. That's the shoulder pain if you have to work in these postures, in these conditions for longer duration. So the keyboard and the mouse should be at the same level. And if you use the adjustable keyboard, then you have to select that adjustable keyboard in such a way that, that ample space will be there where you can accommodate both the keyboard and the mouse. So this is a very, very important things, but সাধারণত আমরা এটা follow করি না। সাধারণত আমরা keyboardকে একটা লেভেলে রাখি, মাউসটাকে আরেকটা লেভেলে রাখি। But this is a very, very bad situations you are creating at your home. So in that conditions, you will develop, that musculoskeletal disorder. There are hundreds of keyboards are designed keyboard, which are known as ergonomically designed keyboard. Inside the groove, the keys are there. So when you use this key, then automatically your wrist will become straight. Your wrist will become straight. So these are the conditions. So in where your wrist will become straight. But again, it's very difficult to get this type of keyboards here. These are the different types of keyboards. Again, it is very difficult to get this keyboard. This is a mouse. When you use this mouse, then automatically your wrist will become straight and you will not fit. But why this wrist, the straightening of the wrist is very much required? Because when the wrist will become bent, then you may develop very, very painful disease, which is known as the carpal tunnel syndrome. And then it will severe pain at your wrist. So if the wrist will become straight, then the possibility of the development of the musculoskeletal, that is the carpal tunnel syndrome, will become minimal. So these are the conditions in which way you can make your wrist straight. But the very difficult conditions created by your laptop. Because here the laptop, in case of the laptop, the keyboard, screen is attached to the keyboard. So keyboard, you cannot remove the keyboard from the screen. So bound to adjust your wrist, adjust your hand, adjust your neck. And now the probability of development of the musculoskeletal disorder is very high when you're using the laptop at your home. So in which way we can decrease that disease? That is where the frequent user, I should suggest them to use separate keyboard. And that keyboard should be attached with this laptop. And then the person will get maximum comfort because this keyboard, you can place it in anywhere. And now this flexibility of the placement of the keyboard will be there. And that will give him or her maximum comfort. So, and also the chair. And you have to find out the chair, as I already mentioned, that will very much fit your normal body dimensions. And that will give you maximum comfort during your work. And the laptop screen should be a little bit back. And then there will be less amount of neck deviation. So you have to adjust your laptop screen a little bit back. And then you will get minimum amount of neck deviation. If the neck deviation is maximum, then you will create severe pain at your neck and unconsciously you will develop. Because during work, you never think about yourself. You think about your work. And in that way, you are developing this type of disorder, this type of diseases. So positions of your laptop should be like that your wrist will become straight when you use this keyboard. So this is the position, that is some inclined positions is here. And when this keyboard in inclined positions, then automatically your wrist will become straight. But this adjustment is very costly, very expensive. So in which way you can make? Yes, you have fat book. You have fat book at your home. You just use this fat book and you just place the laptop over there in the inclined positions. Now you see your wrist will become straight when you use key, when you use the key. So this fat book, of course, the cost, maybe it is you have to spend some money because you have so many fat books at your home, and you just use this fat book and then in the inclined positions of the keyboard, and then your wrist will become straight. So minimum cost is required. And the very, very important suggestion I should give you, that is some stretching exercise, some movement. You should not sit longer durations on the chair, on the workstations, in a constrained posture. So you should not maintain the constrained posture. You have to stand, you have to move, you have to do some stretching exercise. And these are the hundreds of stretching exercise. I will give you some hints of the stretching exercise at the last of this, of this discussion. And then you will get some ideas. That is in which way you can do. You can do it, by sitting on the chair also. So very minimum amount of stretching exercise is required. But what about the smartphone? These are about these are all about your desktop, about your laptop. But what about the smartphone? Because we have to use the smartphone for longer durations. Our young generations are already using this smartphone. And then there's some unnecessary bending of the neck will be there. Because the normal posture of holding the smartphone is like this. And that means it's a forward bending postures. But that should not be. He or she should hold the smartphone like this one. There is no forward bending posture. The back is very straight, and then he will develop the back pain during the holding of this smartphone. But what's the reason behind it? Because when there's some angle, like the almost 60-degree angle of the neck, that means you are carrying the approximately 27 kg of your head. So the excessive pressure will be developed at your cervical region, and you will feel severe pain at your cervical, at your neck region. So this is the such the conditions during using the smartphone. You should not use the smartphone. You should not hold the smartphone like this. You should hold the smartphone like this. And we should practice ourselves to hold this. But normally we have to, we normally hold this smartphone like this, but we have to practice also. And this is the condition, yes conditions in which way you can develop this. And the holding of the the smartphone by your hand, you have to use your thumb. And then when you use excessively the thumb, then there's some probability of development of the severe pain at the base of the thumb. It's very high, and which is known as the Dequirivine syndrome. And now during the lockdown situations, you may develop this Dequirivine syndrome. That means that is the severe pain at the base of your thumb. And maybe when you're holding the smartphone like this, then there's some excessive bending of the your wrist, and then you may develop the carpal tunnel syndrome. There's excessive pain at your at your elbow region. This is the tennis elbow, this portions or this portion. So these are the severe conditions, and usually you can get rid of this type of diseases. Yes, you take break. First thing, you take break. You should not use smartphone for a longer duration. You have to switch off, and you have to keep in other places, so that you should not attend the phone. Phone call beshi na dharatai bhalo. Number one. Number two, that is the voice. Use voice to text the features. And you please use the stylus. If you have the stylus, also you can purchase the stylus from the market and use that stylus than your finger to to keying or to texting, messaging. And the most important thing is the switch or change the hand. Sometimes you have to hold these things by your left hand, and sometimes you should hold these things by your right hand. So in that way, you just make it plan. Like the 10 minutes you have to hold it with your left hand, and 10 minutes, another 10 minutes you have to hold it with your right hand. And then in this way, then the probability of development of the carpal tunnel syndrome will become very minimum. So I can suggest this type of sitting and standing workstation because ergonomists are used to give these suggestions that you should change your postures. You should not be in a constrained postures for a longer duration. So your workstation emon hobe so that you can work in this workstation in your sitting postures and also standing postures. But it's very difficult. No, it's not very difficult. You please use your kitchen platform. That home use kitchen counters. And kitchen counters, you have to adjust. You have to make an arrangement in your kitchen platform so that you can work with your computer, with your laptop, in a standing posture for some times. And then you just sit on the chair and work with your laptop. There's a very important, very interesting rules up there. That is the 20-20-20 rules. Every 20 minutes, you have to take 20-second rest. And then you have to just look 20 feet away. Just look outside the window. Just see the outside, just trees and other things. Then not only you get the physical comfort, but also you will get some mental comfort. So this 20-20 rules, 20-20-20 rules is universally accepted rules. And in that way, you will get not only the physical comfort, but also the mental, psychological. And the very, very important thing is exercise. If you just add this total seconds, then it will nearly 1 minute. So these are all the stretching exercise you have to do. And you have to make your plan. You have to make your work plan in such a way that you should take rest in between your work. You should do some exercises, like you should walk. You should walk a few distance. And then again, you just sit and you just work with your computer, with your laptop. Then you will get maximum comfort. And these are all the suggestions according to the ergonomics, rules of the ergonomics. So I know that your routine is not like that. That is Mr. B's routine. The routine is not like that. So maybe you will get some ideas in which way you can change your own, OWN own, your own workstation, your own home as a office, So you get, maximum comfort by working in this situation. Thank you for your attention. And sorry for the, in the beginning, there's some problem, some technical problem, unknowingly. Problem. And again, I wish to, convey my thanks to all organizers for inviting me for this, this.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Gangopadhyay, for your nice speech, interesting speech. So we all learned about the natural laws of work. But it's definitely going to be a challenge to many of us to practice these natural laws at home. Thank you very much.
Sir,
so now,
audience.
May I request Dr. Jadhav
sir.
to introduce today's next speaker?
Yes, sir. If you have any question for this session. Hello, Sulagna, any question in chat box? Me? Hello?
No, sir.
Any question is there?
Yeah.
No, sir.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. No question is there.
Yeah. One question is there. What exercise what exercise may be
Hello?
practiced?
Right.
Hello?
Sir.
Hello?
Hello.
What exercises may be practiced to overcome the strains of musculoskeletal disorders?
Excellent, excellent questions. You know, there are the yoga, you can practice the yoga exercise, that is the stretching exercise, stretching of your body. And this is not the time to, you know, demonstrate the different exercises, but you can go through, if you can go through the internet, then you will get some exercises by sitting on the chair also. And I show you some in the slides also, some stretching exercises, stretching of the back, stretching of the neck, stretching of your arms, like that, whole body stretching exercise, and that will create some excellent, you know, benefit that so that you can you can prevent the development of the musculoskeletal disorder. But you have to practice this type of exercise regularly. That's the most important things. If you do this exercise for one day, and if you just forget to do the exercise in the other days, then it will not give you any benefit. You have to practice it, you know, every day. And as I told you in the last slide, you know, the last slide, that is, if you count the whole things, that is the total time, it will hardly reach 1 minute. The 1 minute is required to complete the all exercises. So you please use this. First time, you should not do more exercises. Take a very little amount of, and you just consider your age also. That is the excessive exercising, excessive stretching also, it is not good for your health. So you have to do accordingly. And this is only to prevent your musculoskeletal, to development of the musculoskeletal disorder, prevention of development of the musculoskeletal disorder. But if you already develop musculoskeletal disorder, like your back pain, already shoulder pain, then you have to go to the doctors, and then you take some medicines, and then it is the condition. So prevention is better than the, you know, to take medicine. So now you should go for the prevention, do this exercises, stretching exercise. Please do remember stretching exercise, stretching of your body. There's a yoga, there are so many, in the yoga, there are so many stretching exercises also there. And then you can 100% guarantee you will be able to prevent the development of the musculoskeletal disorder.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind presence here. And now over to Professor Jadhav.
Yes, sir. Very nice. Thanks a lot for a very informative and very valuable presentation by Dr. Gangopadhyay. I have not heard about this word ergonomics before this webinar, and always we are using laptop, mobile, and now working from home, and home atmosphere is, their family is there, children are there, and whole things are there. In this situation, we have to adjust, and we have to work such a way that we do not develop mental and physical difficulties and problems. So thank you again, sir. Thank you so much for your this contribution for developing our health and keeping ourselves positive and fit. Now we will move to next speaker, and the topic of the next speech is virology, basic virology and immunology of COVID-19. As we know, we all are under stress, and we always feel that how to develop our immune power, how to keep ourselves healthy, because always we fear that something is going to happen. We are eating this and that. Someone is advising to take kadha, someone to medicine, this and that. But the proper person, those who are having a specialization in these fields, will guide us what to do and what not to do, how much strain we should take, and how much not to be fearful. Now I welcome Dr. Tapasi Roy. A small introduction. Dr. Tapasi Roy has done MSc and PhD. Current designation is National Postdoctoral Fellow, CSIR, Indian Institute of Chemical Biology, Kolkata, Ma'am's PhD was completed in 2015, and PhD work was on respiratory viruses. She has done so many publications in national, international journals and other academic publications. Among them, 4 in infection, genetics and evolution, 2 in virology journal, 1 in medical virology, 1 in JBC, 1 in BBA, 1 in Parkinson's diseases, 1 in Journal of Public Health and Epidemiology, and 1 in International Journal of Current Research in Life Sciences. Now I welcome Dr. Tapsi Rai and request her to deliver her lecture. Over to ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, ma'am.
Sir, is it my screen is visible, sir?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And the screen I'm sharing, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. It's showing the first page.
Yeah.
Can you please scroll the second page? If it is working or not, we can see that.
Just a minute.
Yes, ma'am. Completely visible.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank the organizers to allow me to share my knowledge and to organize such a nice program on the current scenario, on the current topic of COVID. So basically, I would like to discuss on basic virology and immunology of COVID-19. So first of all, we should know what is a virus. A virus basically is a microscopic organism that relies on its host to make more of itself. Basically, as we know from our childhood that viruses are dead when they have not used any cellular machinery, and they behave like the living organisms when they invade cell. So virus contains a genome that might be a DNA or an RNA that acts as a blueprint for the virus. Again, when the virus or any virus infects a body, the virus will hijack our cells' machinery and use them to package its genetic material with protein and other molecules into new virus particles. And the new virus particles will then spread through our body and out into the environment. And in doing so, they can damage the organs and divert the resources from normal bodily function. And in response, our cell or our body also activates the immune system to fight off the virus. And this defense also can drain resources and trigger processes like inflammation and fever that will make us feel sick. So how does someone get rid of a virus? If a person has been previously infected or has been vaccinated, like as we vaccinated by polio vaccines since our childhood, our immune system will be timed to remember the reaction and will quickly make the right defenses. They can easily produce the antibodies and T cells to fight against the virus. But if a person has never been infected with the virus or hasn't been vaccinated, the immune system has to test or has to find out everything or every tool it has to find to defense. So recently we are learning about, or everywhere we go, we come to know that a virus known as COVID-19 is it's a pandemic virus and creates a loss of hazards in our life. But before that, we have to know that, or rather we are interested to know that there are many other pandemics have been occurred which are due to the respiratory viruses. During 1889, a virus of influenza A, subtype H3N8, is known as Asiatic flu, which caused a death of about 1 million people. After that, during 1918, Spanish flu occurs, which caused about 50 million deaths. Then Asian flu caused about 1.1 million deaths. The subtype of the virus was H2N2. Then Hong Kong flu, which causes 1 to 4 million deaths. And the cause of infection was influenza A, H3N2 subtype. Then comes the COVID infection, which was severe acute respiratory syndrome or SARS-CoV-1, which caused, sorry, hello? Okay, so SARS-CoV-1, which caused the death of 774 people. Next, it was replaced by pandemic swine flu, which again caused a 284,000 deaths, and it was caused by a influenza A virus H1N1 subtype, but of swine origin. Next, Middle East respiratory syndrome emerges during 2012, causing 858 deaths. And now, in 2019, the coronavirus or COVID-19 emerges. Till yesterday, the death rate was 7,74,000. So why does this COVID-19 make so many people sick? Basically, it is an emerging infection disease, which means that the human population has not been previously infected. And because most people do not have immunity to the virus, each person's immune system must test all its tools to try So because most people do not have immunity to the virus, each person's immune system must test all its tools to try to find the right defense to protect the body. That takes time and allowing the virus to replicate and potentially spread. So this is the very basic image showing the zoonotic transfer of the virus. It is thought that the reservoir of the virus is the bat, and from bat, through some intermediate host, it infects human being. So currently there are 6 strains of coronavirus. The original one, which was appeared in Wuhan in December 2019, was denoted as L strain. Next, as the respiratory viruses are mutating very fast, during the beginning of 2020, the L strain mutated and emerges as A strain. Since mid-January 2020, we have had strains B and strain G. And today, the strain G is the most widespread one. It mutated into strain GR and GH at the end of the February 2020. This G and GR are the most frequent across the Europe and Italy, whereas the GH strain seems to close to non-existence in Italy, while it occurs more frequently in France and Germany. In North America, the most widespread strain is GH, while in South America, it is GR. In Asia, including India, where the Wuhan L strain initially appeared, but the spread of strain G, GH, and GR are now increasing. Globally, strains G, GH, and GR are constantly increasing. Strains A's can be found in some restricted areas in US and Spain, and the L and V strains are gradually disappearing. If we look at the clinical features of the virus, it was found that the incubation period for COVID-19 is 1 to 27 days, whereas the recovery time is 3 to 6 weeks. With frequently reported signs and symptoms like fever, cough, fatigue, shortness of breath, etc., and less commonly reported symptoms like sore throat, headache, cough, with sputum production. Depending on the symptoms, the category are mild if the majority of cases were mild, including all patients with pneumonia or mild pneumonia. Severe cases include patients which suffered from shortness of breath, blood oxygen saturation level drops below 93%. And in case of critical situations, patients who suffered respiratory failure, septic shock, or multiple organ failure. So the only way to make ourselves safe is maintaining a social distance of at least 1 meter, because as we know that people can catch the virus from others who had the virus. From person to person, the disease can spread through small droplets from the nose or the mouth. And people can also catch COVID-19 if they breathe in droplets from a person with fever. So, social distancing is necessary to limit the spread of the virus. Now, this is the structure of the virus. The virus has a spike protein, which is denoted by S, which is required for the binding to the transmembrane ACE2 host receptor. The envelope protein, which is denoted by E, the orange one, which together with the membrane protein, the green one, together with the membrane protein, forms the viral envelope and helps to determine the shape of the virus. Next, the hemagglutinin esterase protein, that is the HE, the violet one, may resemble another cell entry mechanism of novel COVID-19. And the nucleocapsid protein, that is the blue one, the nucleocapsid protein is bind to the RNA genome of the virus to form the nucleocapsid. This is the procedure showing how the virus get entry into the cell and then make its own replicate and emerges into the environment. What happens when the virus come in the contact with the ACE2 receptor, that is angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptor present on the host cell surface? The spike protein attaches with the ACE2 receptor and then endocytosis occurs. In the endosome, when the membrane of the virus and the host membrane fuses with the help of the TMPRSS2, that is transmembrane serine protease 2, and resulting in the release of the resulting in the release of the RNA into the intracellular space, then the RNA is translated by the host machinery to produce replicase and structural proteins. The replicase then undergoes to the proteolysis and forms RNA-dependent RNA polymerase. This helps in the production of new virus particles and their RNA machineries. Now the structural proteins forms the spike, the envelope and the membrane, and they are shuttled via the endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus to the forming viral capsids. Viral assembly occurs with addition to the viral RNA and nucleocapsid proteins through association with the transmembrane viral proteins. Then exocytosis occurs, releasing the new virus to the environment. So when the virus is trying to get entry into our cell and trying to replicate, trying to enlarge in its numbers, our body cells also try to defend, and in doing so, they produce the innate immune responses. What happens when virus enters a host? Virus recognized by the pattern recognition receptors like TLR7 and TLR8, and as well as by the local cells of the immune responses like alveolar macrophages. This pattern recognition receptors then attached with the ligand binding sites, and then they recruit some adapter proteins. Now activation of downstream transcription factors like interferon regulatory factors IL-1, IL-8, NF-kappa B, AP1, then production of type 1 and type 3 antiviral interference takes place and different chemokines will be attracted. Another set of innate response cells then attracted like polymorphonuclear leukocytes, monocytes, natural killer cells, and dendritic cells. Now production of more chemokines like MIG, IP, and MCP1 occurs, which recruits lymphocytes. Next, recognition of viral antigens are presented by the DC, that is the dendritic cells. Now this picture depicts how the MERS and SARS-CoV-1 infect our cells previously. When the COVID virus come in contact with the ACE2 receptors, they are taken into the cell by the endocytosis process, and when they are trying to, rather when our cells are trying to produce the interference to evade the virus machinery were trying to block certain procedures, like they are trying to blocking the RIG MDA5 PKR complex formation. If not possible, they are trying to block the TBK1 and TLR's complex formation. Other than this, they are trying to block the IRF3 formation so that they are making the cell unable to produce the interference, so that the interference can initiate the JAK-STAT pathway and ultimately interferon production occurs and the COVID should be blocked. Now, this is the scenario where COVID-19, how COVID-19 infects our body cells. The delay or suppressed type 1 IFN response during the initial infection occurs. Viral replication triggers hyperinflammatory condition, and influx of activated neutrophils and inflammatory monocytes or macrophages occur. Th1, Th17 is induced and specific antibodies are produced. So, when uninfected monocytes or macrophages which present in our bloodstream invade the lungs where they detect the virus particles or the cytoplasmic materials or the nuclear components of the virus within the immune complexes, these particles are then taken up into the cells where they are presented to the TLRs, and TLRs then may initiate either IRFs or NF-kappa Bs, and then this process is also dependent on pro-inflammatory pathways. As a result, uninfected monocytes or macrophages produce significant amount of pro-inflammatory cytokines here, and which recruit additional innate and adaptive immune cells and cause additional tissue damage. So the transition between innate and adaptive immune response is very critical for the clinical progression of COVID-19. Now, protective response is T cell dependent with CD4 helping T cells geared towards the production of specific neutralizing antibodies, and cytotoxic CD8, which is capable of eliminating infected cells. CD26 is also responsible for an aminopeptidase involved in T cell activation, may bind to S protein of COVID, that is the spike protein of COVID, resulting in a non-productive T cell infection, although the significance is not clear. Now, the CD147 is a protein of immunoglobulin superfamily which induce MMPs, that is matrix metalloproteinases of extracellular matrix, which binds to the domain of the facilitated S domain of the facilitated viral entry into the host cell. In severe cases, whereas the T cells are functionally exhausted. So, the antibody against the S protein, that is the spike protein of the virus, may block the virus attachment to the susceptible ACE2 cells. IgM and IgA antibodies can be detected early during the first week of symptoms onset, whereas the IgG can be detected at around 14 days after the initiation of the symptoms. However, till date, there is no knowledge on how the protective effect remain active. So here, this figure depicts the antagonistic behavior between the COVID-19 RNA and the antibodies produced. It shows that when the titer of the RNA is high, the titer of the antibodies will be low. And as soon as the titer of the antibodies goes high, the RNA level or RNA titer will go down. So immunological profile, if we study in severe COVID-19 infections, and exacerbated pulmonary and systematic inflammatory responses may occur with increased serum level of inflammatory markers like C-reactive proteins, that is CRP, lactate dehydrogenase, ferritin, which lead to the cytokine storm of the iconic cytokine storm for COVID-19. In COVID-19 patients, IL-2, IL-7, TNF-alpha, etc. Found to be elevated, whereas lymphocytes, CD4, T memory cells are found to be down-regulated. So these may the potential therapeutic procedures and of COVID-19. Virus particles may be caught and inactivated using the antibodies from the convalescent patients. Recombinant soluble ACE2 proteins may bind to the COVID-19 or mediate anti-inflammatory effects, prevent pulmonary damage and hyperinflammation. Hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine may potentially, with combination with azithromycin, can change the pH of the endosomes and reduce the virus entry and further replication. Antiviral treatments with proteases, that is lopinavir, ritonavir, etc., and or nucleoside analogs like remdesivir, etc., can limit the virus replication. And blocking IL-1 signaling or IL-6 signaling may limit further immune activation and tissue damage and cytokine storms. So these are the available therapeutic options to manage COVID-19. RDRP, that is the RNA-dependent RNA polymerase inhibitors like remdesivir, favipiravir, or protease inhibitors like lopinavir and anti-arbidol, etc., currently being investigated in their efficacy. Chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine also increase the pH within the lysosomes, impairing the virus transit through the endosomal pathway. Antagonism of IL-6 and IL-1 also be checked. And finally, several potential sources of COVID neutralizing antibodies are currently under investigation, which includes monoclonal antibodies, polyclonal antibodies, and convalescent plasma from recovered COVID-19 patients. But all are these under the research way only. Now the vaccines. In order to make the COVID-19 vaccine possible, gathering of important information for vaccine development and evaluation should be well defined. This includes the finding of target antigen. This has already been done. Immunization route checking, correlated immune protection, checking the vaccines on the animal models, then scalability, then production facility should be checked, target product profile should be checked, outbreak forecasting should be done, then target population should be selected, and then international collaboration as well as technology transfer between experts should be checked. The above mentioned procedures will help COVID-19 vaccines development quickly to move forward. So coming to the last part of my discussion, that is a conclusion. COVID-19 is a respiratory pathogen which can be easily transmissible from person to person. The elderly people and the comorbidity associated persons are at high risk. Cases rising outside China, including India, with limited local transmission is occurred. Containment is required for elimination of the virus from the community. Now, case management should be studied, contact tracing should be checked, health systems training should be done, and public risk communication should be discussed. In this way, we can only fight with the deadlier virus. That's all. Thank you.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your illuminating speech. Here are some questions. First question, Dr. Tanushree Mondol. Dr. Angida Datta. Which strain is more harmful? First question. And second question is by Dr. Tanushree Mondol. What is the basis of classification of the strains? COVID strains. First question is, which strain is more harmful? And second question by Tanushree Mondol, what is the basis of classification of strain? And then another question I'll say after your answer.
Basically, the recent report suggests that the strains which are mutating from the G strain, that is the GH and the GR, are the most dangerous one. But there are another one report from Malaysia that another one strain has been emerging recently, which is far most, 10 times more dangerous than the recently circulating coronavirus strains. And the second question, what is the basis of the classification. Basically, the similarities or dissimilarities between the sequences of their RNA are the main basis of their classification into different strains.
Okay, thank you. Another question by Sri Orun Jana. Does the effectiveness of polynuclear lymphocytes differ in COVID-19 and SARS-CoV-2 in cellular basis of immune response?
Well, I have to go through the literatures to answer this question. I really don't know exactly the answer of this question.
Okay, I mean,
More question is
Acha,
there, sir?
another,
Okay.
yeah, another question is there by Mr. Deepak Dhar. The size of the pore of N95 is 300 nm, but the size of coronaviruses are less than 200 nm. To how it protect us?
Basically, the mask has 3 to 5 layers. So if one pore is allowing the virus, the next one is not the exactly on the previous pore. That's why maybe they are protecting or they are preventing the virus to entry up to the respiratory tract of us.
Okay, I mean, I'm sharing another information regarding this, regarding N95. In the filter, some magnetic field has been created and put there. And that's why N95 mask cannot be washed or sanitized. It can be used for a few days and then it should be properly disposed of. It cannot be reused for several days because of that inefficacy of that magnetic field in the filter. Okay, that is another point. Okay.
Any more questions, sir? Hello?
I mean,
Yeah, Dr. Nag. Hello? Am I audible,
yeah,
sir?
over to Dr.
Hello?
Nag.
Dr. Nag is there. Now, before Mr. Nag, Dr. Nag, thanks to the audience and resource persons. I would like to say a few words about ma'am's speech. Ma'am has given very informative and very systematic scientific answers of the questions, and she has step by step, she has explained about the COVID-19, and she has given the history of the pandemic before which were occurred, and category of symptoms, so and how to keep social distancing, and how what to do and what not to do, and how we can prevent ourselves. She has given her valuable time and valuable speech and presentation. I would like to thank a lot to ma'am, and for the formal vote of thanks, I would invite Dr. Parimal Nag to please propose the vote of thanks. Over to sir. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, sir? Hello? হ্যালো
হ্যালো শোনা যাচ্ছে হ্যালো
হ্যাঁ শোনা যাচ্ছে স্যার
শোনা যাচ্ছে audible oh so let's start the formal vote of thanks okay good afternoon everyone. It's great pleasure for me to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of organizing committee of today's webinar of our college. First of all, I convey my sincere thanks to the August speaker, Professor Somnath Gangopadhyay, a senior faculty member of University of Calcutta, and Dr. Taposhi Roy, the National Postdoctoral Fellow, Indian Institute of Chemical Biology, Jadavpur, Kolkata, for kindly accepting our for delivering the valuable and informative lecture with illustrations. We are indeed grateful to Dr. Sushmita Mukherjee, the Vice Principal of our college, for her sincere help, constant support for arranging the webinar, and also providing the necessary facilities for organizing the webinar. I also express my sincere thanks to Dr. Nivedita Bhattacharya, HOD French, and Dr. Srinivas Yadav, HOD Hindi, and Coordinator IQSP of our college for their constant support in organizing and conducting the webinar. I convey my sincere thanks to Sri Mithun Gayan, Education Department, and Srimati Shilagna Shom of our college for their constant technical support since the day of organizing the webinar. My special thanks to colleagues and staff members of our college for their active cooperation and sincere help in various ways. I thank all participants for their kind presence. Thank you all. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Welcome.
It's a very nice program and very informative. We have been enriched by the lectures of the resource persons. Welcome all of you, all the senior members, you are senior faculty members of our college. We are thanking you, all the technical team from Dr. Sushmita Mukherjee, Dr. Nivedita Bhattacharya, myself, Srinivas Yadav, and all. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
So we can close the webinar now. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I think